center, inhale, exhale. Hands up, reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right, left, center. Inhale, exhale. Okay, one more time. Hands up, reach down. To your right, to your left, center. Inhale, exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, and stop. Cross, knees, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, hands on your waist, neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Tilt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center, rotating. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn, stretch it out a little. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands to your waist. Shoulder roll. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and stop. Press, release, exhale, inhale. And stand. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Okay, reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, shift from side to side. And center lift. Okay, center. Swing, right leg. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, side to sides. And center. Switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. Switch. And center. Open and close. switch. Okay, Sana preparation. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay, palms down. Extend. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Diagonal flying. Switch. Center. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. Okay, form the fist. Okay, strum the lute. Thumbs up. Alternate the shoulders. Switch. Mm-hmm. Sure. No. Yeah. No. It doesn't. You don't lift the shoulder. You're pivoting inside the joint, so you have to control the. Now, it might feel like it's going up because the muscle contracts, but the thing is, for it to really go up, that means this clavicle area has to release. So between here is the down position, so you get to this down position, not this position. Yeah. Yeah. So you're essentially learning how to sink your elbow, relax the shoulder. So when you lift the shoulder, obviously there's a muscular motion, where the muscles contract, which is kind of independent of anything else that's going on around you. But when you're doing something like Tai Chi and trying to capitalize on gravity as a universal force, when you lift your arm, essentially it's floating up with a certain amount of regulation in your musculature to compensate for keeping it down. So then on the downside, you release and you relax. So because you have two sides going, they kind of drive each other. So one side does the action, the other side does, so there's passive active motion there. So if I drop my elbow, then that could actually, if these two things are pinned together, then that would go up. If I drop this elbow, then this would go up. Now, if I want to lift this elbow and let that one drop, it's a relationship. So you have to work on that to get your body to understand that. So the principle in Tai Chi is use your mind and not strength. How much strength is really something that we don't really know. We can't calculate exactly how much strength it is. So it becomes a feeling. And the feeling is as little strength as possible, but still create the motion and still create the position. And your body will learn through sensitivity, and also because your joints will detect it through the sensors in them and how much. So that's part of proprioception. Okay, so here we go to turning, draw the bow. Okay, fan through the back. Okay, next we're going to go raise the hand. Okay, deep breathing, inhale. Okay, good. So we can go through the form first, the short form. Run through it not too fast. Stay together. Feet parallel. Preparation. Okay, deep breathing. Okay, what time is it? Okay, so let's go through that one more time. Okay, short, right? Go through it one more time. Ready? Okay, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So we got about 5 minutes before we go into the long form. So the Tai Chi Paradigm, it's a sequence. We just went through it two times. And, once you have this form or any of the forms you're learning in your subconscious and you really don't have to think too much about sequence, then it's time to kind of bring in some of the concepts. We have integration of body, upper-lower coordination, relationships in the right-left parts of the body. And then, the idea of upper-lower coordination is when one moves in the bottom, which is your legs, in the upper body, there should be something going on. So there's that natural relationship of balance. Just like when we do this leg, there's a counteracting there. When we lift up, even though you don't see that there's a lot going on there, when you lift, there is a counteracting between the two hands and the torso because you're lifting. When you bend, the other hand comes up on the way up with it. So as your movements become more integrated, it's really one part of your body drives another part of your body. If it isn't driven by another part of your body, then what ends up happening, it becomes isolated. So isolated movement that's what most people do. We want to have integrated movement. So the relationship between the two sides, when one moves, the other side either follows, or if this is driving, then this one would settle. All of this comes from experience. So when you go through your form the second time or the third time of relearning it sequentially, you have to go into the postures. Identify the nuances in the posture, sinking the elbow, relaxing the shoulder, horizontal to vertical. So you have to blend point A and point B, but not just go from A to B. You have to connect the points so that there's a transition. So the transition is driven by the three joints working together. Whereas an isolated movement would be just this side and then this side working. Everyone knows what isolation is. Now that's just your arms. Your legs have their relationship. And what is that relationship? When you go forward and back, there's a relationship between the two legs. So your legs are not just bringing weight to each foot. What it is when this straightens, this one yields. When this one sinks, this releases, and then when this straightens, you transfer back. So what your joints have to do is accommodate those movements. Now we're talking about lifting the shoulder. The joints have this sensor in it. The simplified way of thinking is it's a stretch reflex. A stretch reflex is when the joint moves, if it feels like it's stretching but overstretching, it tenses. It's a defensive mechanism. So stretching is overriding that reflex so that the muscle doesn't tense. That's what happens when we do static stretching or just taking your arm and doing this. That's the type of stretching. You're overriding it. The big muscles are harder to relax because the joints don't want to release as easily. And a lot of it is in the mind and in your breath. So you control stretching through breath, through your exhalation and clearing your mind and focusing on letting go. And that helps in stretching. But actually when you move, there is still stretching. But it's not the same type of stretching because as one side contracts, the other side releases when the movement ends and the other side contracts and releases. That give and take is really going through a stretch mode. But it's not so intense that the stretch reflex kicks in. Now if you actually move and you're somewhat rigid, it's because of habits, staying tense, stress, different reasons why your body would be in a tense mode. So we have to learn to release that tension. That's what we do in Tai Chi Feng Song, is to release the tension in the joints. Because all we have in our body is ligaments, tendons, muscles, skeleton, and connective tissue. So we have to kind of control all of that through here and through movement. And because we're doing that, and the reason why we have to move is to bring circulation through the body. So in Tai Chi, when you move, you're trying to drive the fluids in your body through a gentle motion. And because it's gentle, you don't cause a lot of inflammation, you don't cause a lot of stuff to go on in the body that doesn't like. So when we go from vertical to horizontal, this is something that you should be aware of, that when we sink the elbow and we go to the horizontal, even though we have forward, backward, right, left, center, you always have the somewhat of an oblique motion. So an oblique is to cross hands, right, whether it's here or here. Then you have horizontal and vertical. So you really can't get from here without passing through here. You can't get from here without passing through here to here, right? If you're here in a straight position, you can't get from here to there without sinking your elbow and going in that direction. So transitional motions come through your obliques, your 45-degree lines. If you don't pass through the line, then you're going from point A, and then you're like that, and then that is uncontrolled. The elbow dictates the direction of movement, so you have to control your elbow to soften the movements. Whereas if you move from the hand, then everything is kind of trying to follow, but they could follow in a misaligned method. So if your elbow is supposed to be down and you're moving from the elbow because you relax the shoulder, then the movement will come forward. If you pull the hands out or pull the arm out because your hands are going, then you could go like that because you didn't regulate this and you didn't control your shoulder, you see. So the most important part of that principle is sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, right? Now when you go forward, if you don't want to tense the hand, you have to straighten the elbow. If your hand is driving the movement, then the tension is going to be in the hand, and that becomes committed. This doesn't know what to do. It becomes somewhat rigid, right? So that's just your arm. Your legs are doing the same thing. So you have to take the information that we just went over here and transfer that same concept into the legs. And all of these movements are tied to your torso. So your torso has to move. So all these drills that we do, all these pattern exercises are helping your body recognize that. So then as your body goes through this process, it rewires it. It goes through a certain amount of discovery that has to do with the amount of strength you're using. And then over time, your body will figure it out. So that's just, that's just the theory, principles behind, or even the physiology of how we actually develop it. It's between the mind and the body. So mind-body exercise is really that, because I look at more on the movement side, because a lot of people meditate, a lot of people do it, but doesn't mean that you're going to become coordinated. You can sit there all day long, clearing your thoughts, but when you get up, you're still dysfunctional because you can't really move. You might be pretty relaxed, because movement comes from motor skill. Motor skill comes from the experience of moving the components in your body. Okay, so let's do, before we do a long one, let's do the drill for the kicks, and then we're going to do a drill for how to get into a golden cockerel position. All right, so we start here, 1, right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. So you have to go through all those positions when you're learning the kick. And then when you're refining the kick, you have to have passed through this, 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 this. All of these, like a robot, has to be programmed into your body as the geometry of position. And then when you have that, then if you want to blend the movements and you come from here to here to here, to there, to here, and synchronize it. Then your body will have structure. It will have all the defining things that are required to make it functional, because this is vertical and horizontal. Now vertical and horizontal, that's vertical on each side. But that's kind of stiff. So once you've defined these positions and you want to get to this position, then you have to roll into that, right? So you're here, roll. Now you added this. Now you can't add this without adjusting this, because the whole body's working as a unit. So if you stay stiff here and you turn your body, it doesn't work, because the fullness of the motion isn't created. So the manipulative skeletal structure has to constantly monitor what the next position is going to be. And then when you fold and step out, your body relaxes, and then it opens. And then when you sit back and you turn, or you see the hand and body's working together, this has to stay stable, and then you fold. And then you lift. And then you lift the knee and you extend. And then you come back. Okay. So, try that. Can you remember that? Okay, ready? So start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so that's what you struggle with, getting all those positions, trying to relax through it, then bring in a concept, sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, get the movement driven, you fold, you open, and then the next stage will be intent. How do the hands feel when you're going through the motion to create the surfaces that you're actually using as a direction of force? So when we're here, 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 here, here. Those are all now directional. Then you can have the functionality of those movements. So that's what we're building as a, a process. So that's why you have to start with 1, build the sequence, the order of those movements, and then as 1 becomes combining the hands and legs, then you start to get your body to reset. And when you reset, now you're finding where your tailbone is going into the balanced position, because that's where it should be. So that's a process, that's a training. So prevention of age-related degenerations is that kind of thing, where you're building off of that. So that finished that kick, we're here. Then you're on this side. On this side, you don't have to flip, you just have to go. On the first one anyways. You flip here, you fold, turn, and you do the same thing on this side. So, just in case you haven't realized it, when your hand's on top and you fold, the hand that's on the outside is the same side you kick. Okay, so this is here and this is here. So that's the first two. The first movement and the fourth movement is the same hand movement. So that's the most fundamental way of doing it, to build that program so it's really, set inside. Okay. Now, going to golden cockerel. Now we have the downward posture that we've actually worked on before. We turn. Some people have a little trouble going down, so we're not going to focus on the downward posture. We're going to focus on going to the golden cockerel position. So when we go up, we have to do that. Then the next movement is this, and then down, thrust, lift, kick, and then draw. So the important thing is to twist your waist, so your hands are doing this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, right? From here, right? We come up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So these positions we already know. It's just now we're creating this. So this is really the hoop position, a hoop position, turning of the waist. So those are individual motions that we've learned over time, right? And then thrusting, this or this is really this, right? So just going back to the geometry of positions quickly. If we went from here to the triangle, right, to the circle, to the square, to the slant down, to the push out, to the slant down, to the thrust. All of those pieces are already in the postures you have. So those are fundamental. Because your body, muscle memory, you learn this, then you learn this. You learn this, you learn this, because it's directed to your center. You learn this, you learn this. So we have these positions from here. See, so those are the hoops and circles that we sometimes overlook. Because if you want accuracy of movement, 3 weeks ago we talked about round, even, right? Yuan, yun, man. Slow and accurate. How does accuracy come into play? If you don't have this in your body, and then every time you go into position it's different, how does your brain understand what you're trying to teach it? It doesn't. It's confused. So you have to go through this process until it learns it. Okay, so how do we get into that position? We're here. So the hands go up, and we're like this. The hands go up, and we're like this. The hands go up, and we're like this. 1, 2. 1, 2. So that gives you, because going into it slowly sometimes is difficult. So you're practicing this for stability. And we did this the other day, right? So that gives you an action, because when you come up and you're like this, that's what your next movement's going to be. And then you're going to go into position, but you have to develop some stability. So when you swing the arms, you're here, right? And this is cross hand position. So both times when we go into this position, this is golden cockerel, this is 7 star. So it's the same motion, right? So you use this mechanism to find the center, and then you're here. Find your center, right? And then here. So, right? So this goes like this. The right on the outside, the left on the outside. Right, left. And then this part of the leg, this is the counterbalancing of that motion is this. So when this goes back, this goes out, and this turns. So you have a little bit of intensity drawing back from here and here. So that's a control of that action in that direction. It's not a movement that you normally would do, right? So that's how you would practice that motion. Okay, so let's go through the long form. We'll take it from the first cloud hand. So we finish the cloud hand. We'll go right to the kicks. All right, so face that way. Eric's up there. Ready? Begin. Go. Okay, good. Deep breathing. Inhale. So most of us, have real day jobs and you don't spend a lot of time thinking about this. So it's actually my job to point out things to you so that it's not aware, if you're not aware of it, then I point it out and then you kind of have to insert into your movements if the body's ready for it, and if it's not, then you just have to work through it. But something as simple as strum the lute. Right? This is what we do as a drill. Then we add the component of turning the body. So that mechanism, that transition becomes part of what we do when we step up and move. So do we have sink the elbow and relax the shoulder there? So when you go from here and you turn, your elbow has to sink, because when you step up and you go forward, the elbow is what really determines the direction of your movement. So grasp sparrow's tail is not the hand. Same as what we were talking about before, that the hand doesn't lead the movement. The elbow, first sink the elbow and relax the shoulder, is something that you have to bring in. Part the horse's mane, sink the elbow, relax the shoulder. Stepping up. This and this has to be in the movement. Otherwise you're missing the transition. You get to this point, but you miss something here, right? You turn the body and you have to sink again. But when you're transitioning through, you have to sink that elbow. Jade Lady works shuttle, you have to sink the elbow and you turn. When we turn and turn, here's your sink. Here's your sink. So if you're not doing that, at least be aware that that should happen. Cross hands when we're here and we turn, we sink, turn, sink. Sinking is the elbows and your shoulder. Those have to work as a relationship. Now if you're sinking elbow, relax your shoulder, then what you do with your hand is much more defined. Because when I'm sinking my elbow, my hand can be soft. When I get my hand up into this position and the wrist is soft, then you can finish the movement by seating the wrist. Now if you go through this movement and the hand's leading it, it can't connect here. So that's really a concept. So these ideas have to be brought into your understanding, so that when you work through a posture or movement, it has those elements. So, and it's really a personal thing that when you're working through it, because everyone's different. So what I point out is, generally what I might see, and then you have to kind of pick up on that idea. And then as you continually evolve, we go through the form, I can pick up other little things that you might, take advantage of. All right, we're going to bow. Oh. Salute.